I have the perfect recipe for you today. Keto Pecan Wedding Cookies. If you've ever had Mexican wedding cookies, they're little balls of ground pecans and they're dusted in powdered sugar. And I have keto-fied that recipe for you with allulose and crushed pecans. You can see here, I put those in the food processor, a cup of crushed pecans, and there's almond flour. And let's get into it right away. Hi, welcome back to Keto Over 50. I'm RJ. I love these cookies. I've made them once before, and I like using pecans. I've seen recipes that call for different nuts, but I like this one. I also add a little bit of cardamom, which is what I use in my chai latte. If you haven't seen my keto chai latte video yet, I'll tag it at the end. It'll pop up. Cardamom is in chai latte, and it's one of those distinct exotic spices. And I put in a little cinnamon too. So these are going to really have incredible flavor. So let's get started. Do you love cookies? I am such a cookie monster. I love it. Okay, so we're going to start. I'll have the recipe down below in the description. I'm starting with some almond flour, and to that we're going to add the sweetener, which I like allulose. I've gotten so used to using allulose that my monk fruit erythritol combo just sits there most of the time. There's a little bit of coconut flour, which helps with the texture, and this is a cup of ground smashed pecans. Oh, I love pecans. And then let's go ahead and put the seasoning in. And then here I have a little 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I think it's about a teaspoon of baking powder. I don't know. The recipe is down below in the description. I just got everything out for you so I can get it ready to go. And we're just going to mix this. We're going to blend in the nuts. I probably should have used a bigger bowl, do you think? Do you ever do this? My mom used to do this. She could never pick the right lid for the right pan, and she'd put it in and it would just drop into the water or whatever she was cooking in the pan. So I guess maybe it's genetic, the inability to pick the right size bowl for what you're making, right size pan. Okay, well, that's mixed enough. We're going to use this big bowl now. Woo! Upgrade. Okay. And in the big bowl, we're going to take an egg. It's one way to open them. We're going to cream together the egg and the butter. Come on, honey. Get out of there. Woo! Okay. So we're going to beat the egg with the butter, which has been softened. It's been sitting out for quite some time. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I know, why bother measuring it when you measure and pour it like that, right? Okay, about a teaspoon. And now I'm going to add the dry mix to it in I want to say segments, in bits, not all at once. I love that I can smell the vanilla. It's so nice. And I can smell a little bit. I don't know how it's going to turn out to mix cinnamon and cardamom. I was looking at recipes for the Mexican wedding cookies, and all they use is vanilla extract. And I thought, well, I really like cardamom in these. I know that. And I like cookies with cinnamon. I know that. So we've got the cardamom and the cinnamon and vanilla. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, that's it. You know I love a recipe where everything goes in one bowl, and then that's about it. That's my favorite. So you can see it's a typical cookie dough batter, a little stiff. It's supposed to make about 20 cookies or so. And I'm deciding, stick my finger in my eye, I'm deciding if I should use my new super tiny 1 teaspoon scooper, or if I should use one that's 1 tablespoon. I'm going to go with the little one. Just because when you want a little bite, I would rather have 2 little cookies than 1 big cookie that when you bite into it, the powdered sweetener goes everywhere. These you'll be able to just pop in your mouth whole with your chai latte, right? So we're going with 1-inch balls, 1 inch apart. That's pretty easy, huh? And because it's such a small ball or scoop, I'm going to make them relatively big, or I don't know, overflowing. I'm not going to level them off and make them super tiny. Look at these. How wonderful. And you know, with this scooper, I love this one with the silicone coated handles. They're so, I'm trying to find it in the camera for you. They're so easy to use. You know, when the first time I made cookies and I used my other scoop, one of my wonderful viewers commented and said she was left-handed, so it was hard for her to find a scoop that she could use. And I was confused at first because this is no hands. Look, Ma, no hands, right? And then I remembered the old-fashioned ice cream scoops had a little lever here that you would push, boom, boom, boom. And if you were trying to do that left-handed, you couldn't do it upside down. I felt so bad for her. And she was so excited to see these new scoops that are just so much better and easier to use. So no, but they're right-handed, left-handed, ambidextrous scoops. This is just so much easier than rolling balls in your hands, doing this together. Same thing with meatballs. I just absolutely love the tools that we have at our access today. And they should bake up fine. The oven is not at 350, it's supposed to be at 325. When my oven is at 325, nothing gets done. So I have it set at 330. So with any recipe that you're making, you should always judge based on what your oven does. Is it hot and high, or is it cool and slow? So that way you never burn anything, but you get it cooked when you need to. Okay, as you can see, I created another whole row here. These are going to be so good. I just know they are. Did you ever have a bad cookie? I don't think so. I ended up with, I forgot now, 44 cookies. Oh my goodness. And the recipe called for 30. So I don't know what I did, except I made them very small. I think that's what happened. And I think these are just going to be delicious little bite-sized. And I have powdered allulose here that I'm going to roll the balls in when they come out of the oven and they're a little hot. And this is going to melt against them. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. They're going to go in the oven for about 16, 17 minutes. And I'll check them and I will rotate them on the racks. Do you know to do that? Turn them around this way, turn them around this way. Well, this guy goes this way or this way. But if you rotate them and then you take this one from the top shelf and put it on the middle shelf halfway through, that way they'll cook more evenly. I'm sure you've noticed if you bake cookies that the back side of them, what's in the deepest part of the oven, is always the darkest brown, and you don't want that. So we're going to put them in the oven now. I'm going to put the bigger one down below for starters, and this guy facing that way. And sometimes you can do them this way and this way, you know, just so that the heat can get all around them. That's what it's going to take to make these fantastic. They're done. Let's finish these up. How exciting. Now, I like to do this next step while they're still a little bit warm, and I might have a little spoon to help me along, but you still want them warm because you want this powdered sweetener. You can see that, right? You want that powdered sweetener to stick to them and kind of melt. I'm so glad I made them as small as I did. And this is it. I don't want them to break apart. So that's why I use a little spoon. You see that okay? I use a little spoon and just make sure they all get dusted. Oops. Exactly what I was talking about, them falling apart because they're so delicate. Another reason why I like the small scoop, and I found that teaspoon scoop with the silicone handles at Amazon, so I can link to that down below for you. And you can see these are just beautiful little bites. They might be 2 bites per cookie, not the end of the world. I can't wait to taste them to see how the cardamom and the little bit of cinnamon work together. I am getting them. I don't know why I'm not doing it here, putting them here. Okay, there we go. I wanted to do these over a dish towel so that the powdered sweetener, the allulose, wouldn't fall all over my stove, which I've already done now. So I needed powdered allulose for this recipe, and I've given this tip before, but let me share it one more time. If all you have is allulose or monk fruit and erythritol combo, and you have a blender, just put it in the blender. I use my NutriBullet back there. I don't know if you can see it in this shot, but I put my NutriBullet in there, and I put, I don't know, about 1.5 cups of allulose in my NutriBullet and pulverized it. I did not, however, put the pecans in my, I missed his top. I did not put the pecans in my NutriBullet because they would have been too finely ground. You want them to be finely chopped, but not ground. So not like almond meal. Okay, these are just turning out beautiful, aren't they? So easy. I love any recipe where you put everything in one bowl. I'm getting ready to make another treat for you here. I've already got all my ingredients out. Since the oven was on, you know, take advantage of that. When you have your oven going, think, what else can I bake while the oven's on? Especially in the summertime when it's hot. In the wintertime, you might want to leave your oven on all day just to keep the house warm. See, I like this little guy. All right, he might have to just try this right now. Oh, wow. That is so flavorful. You know the seasoning you get like with pumpkin pie? You have pumpkin pie seasoning. You have, you know, all of the different flavors. This almost tastes like carrot cake, kind of. Oh, my goodness. Let me finish eating. Oh, I hope you'll try these. They're so good. If you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, and share. It'll really help my channel. I'm trying to grow it. So I hope you're enjoying all of the video and the recipes. And if you want to see anything in particular, a recipe, or you have questions about being on keto, let me know. You know, I lost 25 pounds the first few months I was on keto and I started doing intermittent fasting at the same time. And just becoming so aware of the snacking, sometimes even like right before bed, maybe I would eat a spoonful of peanut butter or a cookie or something, just a little something. That's not going to help. I'm going to bed. Where is that going to go? That's going to go somewhere I don't want it, right? And, you know, you want to stop eating a couple hours before you go to bed. And then when you wake up, wait as long as you can to start eating again. Your body needs that rest. Your system, it helps the autophagy, which is your body getting rid of the zombie cells, the cells it doesn't need anymore. And so you want to give it a break, like 16 to 18 hours a day where you're not shoving food in. It's so good for you to take that break. And I didn't realize that my whole life. I didn't realize that. I'll do the rest of them after I stop filming. But these are so good. And you know what? That mix of cardamom and cinnamon, I'm never making these any other way. It's so tasty. I have powdered sugar all over me. It's so tasty and exotic, like punch of pumpkin pie spice or in a chai latte. If you haven't seen my chai latte video yet, I'm going to link to it right here and watch that, because a chai latte, first of all, with one of these would be an amazing break at 4 o'clock in the afternoon while you're waiting for dinner time. These are so good. Oh my goodness. All right. So when you eat these, they are like, I'll put the macros down below, how many carbs they are. I think it's like 1.5 per cookie. And when you make them this small, when you take a recipe that has, it says it'll make 15 or 18 cookies and you end up making 40, then of course you would cut that in half. These are just so much better than the last batch I made. I'm so excited. Stay beautiful. You know you are. Feel free to share the recipe with all your keto friends. Make a big batch, comment, let me know what you think. Are you excited to make these? I'm so excited for you to make them too. Let me know how you like them. Look at this. Ah, such a beautiful plate of cookies. I'll see you next time. This is RJ for Keto Over 50.